Hi, we are in the silo today, and if you're here, you're probably considering buying one of these. It's the H2D from Bambu Lab, and it promises to be bigger, better, faster, and moreover, to print right out of the box. Well, let's see if that's true. Okay, before we start, let me tell you that this is not a sponsored video. I did buy this with my own money for my own business, and I bought it because it promises to be a very easy machine, very user-friendly, and not requiring a very long and steep learning curve, which I have no time for. I never had a filament printer, this is the very first one I own, and so I will show you in this video how it was to take it out of the box, set it up, and get my first print without any prior knowledge of how it works. More importantly, at the end of the video, I will give you a few of my impressions after a few weeks of use and see if there's something that I liked and something I don't. So I'll see you at the end of the video, and for now, let's get on. This is a seriously large and heavy box, and it's recommended to have 2 people available to unbox it, but I will show you that with a lot of struggle it's perfectly possible to do it on your own. All I have to do at the beginning was to remove 4 clips from the bottom and slide the top off and throw it away. Right on top of the box, we do find the quick start guide, which we're gonna open and study later. I promise I will. And then we find this pizza box, which I suspect doesn't have any pizza in it. Let's see what we get here. Oh, that's interesting. If this is what I think it is, it's probably a palette of all the filament colors. Let me check. Oh yes, that it is. This was on offer on their website just a few days ago for 99p plus shipping instead of £4, but nowhere they mentioned that this comes for free with the machine, so good thing I didn't buy it, or I would have 2 now. Let's put this away. Then there's this funky bracket here, which I have absolutely no idea what it is. We'll surely find out in a moment. Anyway, and okay, this one says on the box, so I suppose it's a bit of lube, a spare head, alley keys. This might be a swab. Let's see. Let's open it and see what's inside. Exactly. So, okay, this is a 0.4 head. I don't know if it's a spare or I'm just supposed to add it to the machine. This was definitely not a swab. It's... well, may I be damned, I have no idea what this is. This is the basic model, so there's no laser or anything, so I don't know what it is. Couple of Allen keys, I will surely find out in the quick start guide what they are, and this looks like a cable clip of some sort. This must be some lube, maybe, and some very funky bits. There's 2 of these things here, again, no idea what they are. And is this a jewel? No, it looks like a blade. It is a blade, it's quite sharp. You see it? Yeah, it's a bit sharp. I suppose it's a scraper for either cleaning or... well, it must be for cleaning. So let's put this back in the box and store it away before we lose stuff. But there's one last thing, and these look like tubes. So probably these are going from the AMS to the head or something like that. Bit of silica gel, short length tubes. Are they all the same length? No, 2 are shorter and 2 are longer. So they're not going to be the same. I need to pay attention which one goes where. But let's get rid of this. The pizza box is empty, and we can carry on by removing... is this something or is just no? So just the locator. Let's remove the main foam cover. Doesn't want to come out easily. Done. And there's more foam underneath. We know about that. And well, here's the printer. There's some more stripping involved. There's 4 of these tapes, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and it says caution, remove this. So we're removing this, and we remove the 2 at the back. And there we go. We got one naked printer. It is big, isn't it? some air bubble tubing, and this plastic looks like it is stacked underneath. One thing I don't see is the AMS. I don't know if they put it inside or I don't know. I'll find out, I suppose, because there's nothing else underneath. And this is, it's fully wrapped around it, so I'm not just going to pull it out, I suppose. What I could do is cut it very carefully, because I don't want to scratch the printer. Okay. Et voila. Now this is exposed. There's safety tape here with a piece of cardboard on top, which I don't know if it's just for protection or is actually containing something. I think it's the glass lid, and I think it's made of glass because it's quite cold. So yeah, there's a few images here say be careful, do it nicely, blah 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 blah. But then this is the glass cover. It's cold. Yeah, it's definitely glass, so need to be very, very careful with this one. And I can see there's a bunch of foam, and the AMS is indeed inside. Now I need to lift this thing, and I need to put it on the bench. She is heavy, so let's lift it to bench height. But unfortunately, because of the box, I will have to lift it farther somehow. Hopefully I can manage. Sorry, the angle is a bit dark in here, I understand that, but bear with me for just a second while I try to understand how to safely lift this thing. It's just too big to be able to stretch my arms around it safely. Isn't this the worst spectacle of the whole of the internet? Okay, it's not coming out the box. It's annoying. I mean, they should think about the fact that not everyone has someone to help them out. Well, I could call my wife, but I don't want to. I want to be able to do it by myself. Okay, maybe if I turn it 45 degrees. Yes, I think I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh, come on. Yes. Oh. Okay. See? Told you it was easy. Now since carry the plastic. Let's make some horrible scratchy noise. Oh, silica gel. Box gone. Pedestal down. I'll try and give you the best view of what I'm doing. I'm assuming this is the front. It must be the front. It looks like this is the front door. For some reason I expected the display to be on this side, not on this side. Well, maybe I'm getting confused with other versions. This is to prove that I really never had a filament printer, and I really don't know what I'm doing. But this is supposed to be the most user-friendly. Alrighty, I checked the quick installation guide, and indeed I need to remove the 4 screws on the bottom because they are holding the platform down. So now that I'm sure on what I'm doing, I can remove these. It also says there's a piece of foam underneath that I don't need to remove for now because it can be done after setup. In case you're wondering my change of attire, is because this is another day. It was just too much to take on in one day. I didn't want to break anything, and I got a bit tense. Now this seems to be either very, very long screws, goodbye stool, or they just don't need to be undone completely. I'm not quite sure. There's a heat wave in UK here, so I am really struggling inside the silo today. I think outside is probably close to 30 degrees. Inside here it feels more like 45. I have a fan, but if I turn it on, you can't hear what I'm saying, so okay, they're just very long. This comes out all in one piece, and these are the tabs I was telling you. I couldn't quite show you inside, but it will be obvious. There's 4 of them, 2 in here and 2 on either side of the platform at the front. You remove all 4 of those screws, which I did. I don't believe the brackets at the front come out. I'm gonna say something strange. There's a beautiful smell inside this machine. I'm really liking it. It's a bit like a new car, but not quite. You know, when you spend money and then it smells like something expensive, that's pretty much what's happening here. We can now move at the top, removing very carefully the top glass. I do need to snap off all of these zip ties. There's one, and there's 2 very bulky ones, which I'm hoping they will snap off. Oh, good. Okay. I mean, these are very wide, so yeah, not the easiest snap. So right now the machine, no, I don't touch it. It's not moving. I was expecting it to move at least in one direction, but it doesn't. So I'm not gonna try and force it. Okay, so now, in theory, this is free to move. Yes, something happened here. Scary. Yes, it moves. Piece of foam. And there's another piece of foam that says, please remove this foam, and I haven't done that. I can't see any more foam, so I'm assuming that I am done. I'm going to push the head back. So this comes with a 0.4 heads. Now the gunter is completely free to move. It says on the manual that we should put the cover back. I still have a piece of foam underneath the platform, but I'm still following the instruction not to touch that, because after setup it will become easy, so I shouldn't be touching the platform right now, and I'm not. I just did, but I'm not supposed to. But I need to get the AMS. What a mess on top. It does say to remove the tape. Okay, I'm gonna show you. So it says to remove the tape and the outer packaging of the secant, and I suppose that then the secant goes back in this slot here, or maybe here at the front. I don't think it makes a massive difference. Now, from what I can see from the instructions, you do plug the AMS into the machine with sort of a USB cable. It's a Bambu bus cable, 6-pin. I've also heard that you can actually plug it directly into the sockets as well for power, because that will allow it to desiccate the filament while in use. I'm going to drop the bags here at the front. There's 4 bags, but there's only 3 slots at the front, so I'm not quite sure that's going to make any sort of difference if I split them or not. I rather don't split them, because this is like, yeah, it's not strapping out. Because I'm not sure if they go back where they were, or I can just place them here at the front. It sounds like here at the front it's safer, because this is an empty slot anyway. This is done, and then I need my small cable, which I need to find. Inside the box there's another 0.4 head, so it looks like you get 3. How odd. Why would I have 3 and not then 4? There's a bags of cables with some more tubing as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this tubing. We'll find out soon, I suppose. So that's the power lead for the main printer. And this is what is asking me now to plug, which is the Bambu bus cable clip adapter. Okay, looks like the two ends are exactly identical, so it shouldn't make a difference which end I plug where. There's two here. I think one is for... yeah, I mean, in the picture it says to plug it in the left one. I think the right one is to daisy chain a second AMS, and then you can place as many AMS as you want. Now, I'm not going to turn the machine, I'm not going to shoot it from the back, but I am probably going to turn it because I can't see what I'm doing. This is all very exciting. I mean, it's pretty much in real time. I'm trying to cut as little as possible so you can actually see what it is like to install it and get it to run, in theory, on the same day. I did it in 2 days, but that's just me. I could have done it all in 1 day. Now, other thing is, there's a filament outlet. Now, we got several filaments, but this is longer. So I would imagine it's this one, because I can't think of a short one going there. The other thing I'm wondering is if I can park the EMS somewhere else, like on top of this shelf, instead of being on top of the machine. There are two couplers at the back, which are this yellow thing. Right now it's telling me to put the other end of these in the top coupler, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the bottom one. Okay, it goes down quite a lot. I mean, I pushed it until it would go, and it was quite more than I was expecting. And that's done. Okay, now it says to remove the desiccant packaging material on each side of the empty space. Okay, so now let's go back to where I was before. Well, I can just turn this. It does say that the desiccant I threw at the front. I've seen a lot of people putting the desiccant here, but it does actually say that the desiccant should be here at the back. So exactly where it was, you just remove the outer packaging and put it back, like that. So if this is the only feeder that goes into the machine, yes, I don't see any reason why this could not be on a separate shelf rather than straight on top of the machine. As long as the tube is not kinking, that should be okay. Oh, and now, that's exciting. This thing here, which I had no clue whatsoever what it could be, actually goes here at the back. So let me turn the machine, because this seems more complicated than I thought it would be. I don't have a clue. And okay, it goes on the side. I think it's a spool holder. What is this? Does it say? Let me read the instruction. Take out the spool holder. That's it. That's what it is. It's a spool holder in the direction shown above. Now, if I'm using the AMS, will I use a spoon holder anyway? A spool, not spoon, spool holder. But am I not going to use any spool holders? I don't think I will. Well, I'll install it for now. I may take it out later on, because what's the point if I have the AMS? Let's get everything in place. So yeah, that explains it. This is like, this is pivoting, but it is a feeder for filament. And your roll goes on top of this bracket here. There's a safety key on the rear panel, right? So this is a safety key. And it says to take it out of the packet and to install it. I'm not sure you can see there. To install it, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Over here. So that goes, let's go to split. Yeah, go to split. So it can only go in one direction, in one way. Full inserted. Download the Bambu Handy. Register and log in into. Okay, so it goes digital. From now on, most of the installation is then digital, so it will be guided by the software. Before I do that, I'm going to just show you that there's a cable lead that goes in here, and there's a switch, power on, power off. Now here in UK we do have sockets that actually have a switch on their own. So I think for the sake of it I will turn this on, but then I will plug it in one of the sockets and I keep it turned off until I'm ready to do whatever it needs to do. This next passage is a bit confusing. I mean, not confusing, it's just not what I thought it would be. It's not asking me to install the software on my computer and then have an interface. It's actually asking me to scan a QR code on my phone to download the Bambu Handy, which I think is just a registration tool. I'll do that. It's connecting to the Bambulab website. It's giving me a few options here, Bambu Handy, and it sends me to the Apple Store in my case, where I can just get it. Double click to install. Seems quite easy. Okay, it only took a minute to install, well, less than a minute really, probably 30 seconds to install. Open it, need to agree, like to send you notifications. Well, let's say yes, and I'm here. And now, so nothing happened. Basically, I get a software interface with a series of options. I think there's a lot of tutorials and other stuff, but it's not like it's guiding me through the rest of the installation, really. It's just that. For the instruction on the screen to complete the initial calibration. Well, okay, no, I'm gone. Power on the printer, okay. There's more to it. So it says, power on the printer, follow the instruction on the screen until a QR code appears. Scan the QR code, and that will lead me through the calibration. So it is time to power up the machine. I'm scared. So there's lights going on in the AMS. The display is coming up, and there's a bit of a light underneath here. Let me see. Yes, if I can open it, the chamber is now lit up. We got sound, and if we zoom in on the display now, we are into the setup procedure. So select the language, English in my case. We are in Europe, even though technically UK is no longer in Europe. Don't ask me. That's my Wi-Fi. I need to insert the password for the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna skip that. Well, the keyboard is kind of annoying because you have everything separated. So numbers are on one menu, capital letters are on another menu, so you need to go back and forth through menus. But now we are connected to the Wi-Fi and is refreshing the barcode. I will blur this just in case it's very personal and it should not be shared. Apologies for that. But we connect again, confirm banding, printer, read and accept, confirm, bind, and here is sending me to an account. I don't have an account, so I will have to create an account. I'll see you after I've done that. Apparently I already had an account, but I had forgotten the password, so I had to reset the password, make a login, and now I get to a page where it's asking me what's my level of experience as a 3D print operator. So beginner, experienced, or expert. In my case, I would say experienced, just because I never had a filament printer, but on the other hand, I work with other 3D printers, so I do know a few things, just not a lot. Add your 3D printer. So he's asking me to add which 3D printer I have, in which case I'm going to the B for Bambu Labs H2D. Next. Be surprised that he doesn't know already, because I had the login and it's coming from a QR code anyway. So okay, I took a few minutes to clear up because these things is starting to produce loads and loads of garbage. Speaking of which, it comes with a sheet of stickers, which, I mean, it's not rubbish, but I don't think I'm going to use them. It's quite cute and old-fashioned. I don't think I'm going to use them, but thank you, Bambulab, for sending them anyway. And I checked the guide, and it's actually time to step into the computer. I already downloaded Bambu Studio, which is the software that drives this machine, and it's time to launch it. Connect both the computer and the printer at the same wireless network. That's done. So I started the software. It's loading. It's a setup wizard. So it does all on its own. This is the very first start. I literally just downloaded it. And get started. Again, he's asking me where I'm from. My case is Europe. We kindly request your help to improve everyone's printing. Come and join our customer. Not yet, so I'm gonna skip that. And then he's asking me which printer do I have, and I have the Bambu Lab H2D. For some reason they're all selected, which I never did, so unselect all of them, and then I'm just going to select the Bambu Lab H2D, and I'm going to next. Filament selection. For the time being, I'm gonna use them all because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. It's asking a lot of stuff, way more than I want to. Well, I don't know. Well, it's not going to explode, isn't it? So I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I can always add more in the future. So there's a plugin that lets me check the status of the printer online. I'm not sure how, but hopefully it will tell me. And for what I can see, there's a screen now that looks very similar to the one I had on my mobile phone. So, and what do I do now? Because I don't think we finished the setup, and I do not think... Okay, there's a device page, and here on top it says no printer, and there's a plus. So if I click plus, and then he's asking me if I want to bind with a pin code or with an access code. Let's try with the pin. Please log in before binding your device with a pin code. Alternatively, you can use LAN mode to bind your device. Learn about LAN mode. I mean, this is it's kind of confusing, but anyway, I did create my account before, so I'm just gonna do it again. Agree, login, verification code. They're gonna send me a verification code through my email. It feels like you're doing the same thing over and over again for some reason, but anyway, you insert the code, confirm. Do you want to synchronize your personal data from Bambu Cloud? It contains the following information: process presets, filament presets, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem with that. I can't see a problem. And now, in theory, it's done nothing. It's done absolutely nothing. Okay, because I've done the login, found the pin code in account page on printer screen. So it is getting quite confusing now, I have to say, and I confess I'm not completely happy about the process, but it was still on the QR code here. I just pressed skip and he went into asking me, he reminded me to remove the 4 screws, which I did, and now it says calibrate. So now it's going to do the calibration on here. So why is the manual telling me to start the software if all the calibration is actually here on the machine? I mean, it's a back and forth that I don't fully understand. This is definitely not a straightforward experience. Now it's doing the calibration. Now the platform is raising, looks like all the way up. And that's revealing a piece of foam underneath here. That's 2 pieces of foam. I'm gonna remove these as well. More rubbish. This is going all the way up. Ah! Okay, it touched and it bounced a bit. And this is just 2% of the calibration. Now we are 3%. It's not gentle, I have to say. There's some of the movements he's doing, it's quite rough. I suppose it's part of the experience of cleaning the nozzles from melted plastic. I suppose this is going to take a while because it's just 4% now. I'm just kicking it back at 9% because I discovered that there were 2 extra pieces of foam here saying remove it. Luckily they were above the platform, so because for a moment I feared that that would actually stop the platform from going up to the top, but it wasn't the case. These were just on top of the platform. So again, 10%. Bye. Okay, it's finished. It says you're all set, time to create, get started. It took approximately 30 minutes and now it's ready to print. Again, it does seem to be quite separated. What it does with the software and what it does here is not a smooth transition from one to the other where it tells you go on the software and then come back to the machine. It looks like everything is doing its own thing, but I'm gonna press get started here. Welcome. Oh, go and yeah, there was a message, I couldn't read it because it changed straight away. A new AMS detected. Please set it up and check which extruder the AMS is connected to. Now, I'm not quite sure if I need to press this. Okay, yes. So this is guiding me into setting up the AMS. I think I will do this before doing the computer stuff, just because. So I will follow the instructions here, and I suppose I need to do something at the back because all the cables and tubes are at the back. Alrighty then, bit of a scratching really. I had to recharge my microphone. In the meanwhile I played around with it a little bit, and it is kind of confusing. Print files where you find the benchy and other stuff, this seems to be only here, not on the computer. I did dig into the program files and I did find some of them, but not all of them. What I do find awkward is that if I select, say, animal paw, it does get a bit upset because it wants to know exactly what I have in each extruder. Now, these, because of the way it is here on the screen, it doesn't really let me do anything because it wants to know exactly what materials I have in both extruders, and it doesn't really let me print, it doesn't let me place it on the plate, so I cannot do really anything here. Now, while I was charging my microphones, I did play around with the software on the computer, and I did manage to get to print a little benchy, and I will print another one here, so I will show you now what I did. Now, this is not going to be an high-tech demonstration, also because clearly I just opened the software and I don't really know how it works. But you got a play button here which actually lets you activate the camera. The resolution doesn't seem to be great, and there are some commands here which activate go live video and time lapse. If I click this, absolutely nothing happens. So I will have to understand. It says no storage. So I'm not sure if it will only make time lapse videos with some sort of memory inside the machine. I'll have to look into this, but basically nothing happens here. I can turn these on, which I don't know what exactly they do. If we go here on the first tab, which is prepare, this is where you can import your files. So if you click here and you can select which file you want. I could only find these on the 3D file, so there's not all of the stuff that was there. I don't think there's anything with two colors, for example. It all looks like it's a single material, single color. I can probably paint it if I start playing with the thing here. There's, yeah, color painting. So with this one, you can select triangles, sphere, circle. Well, that's the tool, but that's the only color. So I can add another color, which is going to be the PLA basic, so I can tell it it's the orange that it's going to be, and I can paint something that is not obscene. So I suppose it will try to do that. Okay, so I can paint this stuff. I think this will let me select faces rather than just painting freehand. That would be nice if I can just select a face and paint it. But that's a circle, a sphere, triangle, high range. Let's see what happens. Okay. Anyway, I cannot. I won't give you a demonstration of how you do this kind of stuff. If I delete this, can I delete it with the delete button? Yes. Now we can scale it because I don't want to print the whole thing. So I'm going to scale it uniformly by 50%. I make it tiny. It is going to be red. It's only going to be one color. And that's it. So the white stuff, I'm not quite sure what it is. It might be the end and the start and end of each cycle. So that's the printable area where, because I only have a filament in the right nozzle, I can print this if I wanted to. I could move it down here and it would print it, but I could not move it here because I don't have any filament in the left nozzle. So if it was big enough to go across the whole platform, that would not print. Once we are there and we are happy, we can just go with print plate. It's going to tell us what it's doing, so it's going to use the red PLA, auto bed leveling on, this is all on, I'm not sure what is that, what's that and that. There are advanced options, I'm not going to go into that, but the idea is that today I unpacked the printer, I imported the file, and now I'm about to print it. Will it do it? Yes. Play the camera, that's going to actually show me what's happening here. I don't know how to make a time lapse. And as we are now, it is getting ready to print. Here is showing the temperature of the bed and the chamber. This is showing what is going to print. It makes a lot of noise. It's very brutal when it moves. I can pause, stop, or even skip a print. I still have this AI assistant that does absolutely nothing for what I understand. And in here, it's still not initializing the camera. So I still don't get to see anything there. And it should tell me shortly how long it expects to take to print the Benchy. And now probably 3-4 minutes. It hasn't done anything yet. There's a countdown here. It says 19 minutes. So it's expecting to take 19 minutes for the whole thing. For the first Benchy, it didn't take this long. I think it was quicker on the first Benchy. This one seems to be taking longer, maybe because I opened the machine quite a lot. So I let it run. I believe is now auto leveling the platform. So it's checking if the platform's level, checking the vibration. Suddenly jumped to 25% progress, and now saying 15 minutes left. Does this little squeak at the beginning? I think it's just a purging operation, and now it's printing. Okay, so the camera was basically stuck. I had to stop it, and then it started straight away, and now it's showing on the screen. I do get to see a video of the print. There's a bit of a delay, but I mean, it's also annoying that I cannot apparently send this preview in full screen. I would like to see it full screen or being able to zoom from close up what it's printing, but I cannot do that. Okay, it says it took 20 minutes. I think it was closer to 10, to be honest. I'm not really sure, maybe with the calibration at the beginning, but we are still far. So this is the purging strip that it did. And there's the Benchy, which comes off the platform. I have to say the quality, it's really, really good. It's much better than I was expecting. It's better than it looked on screen, because the problem is when you zoom in on the screen, you see a lot of blemishes. I mean, this is struggling to focus my camera because I think it's a bit dark. Let me see if I can get a bit of a better view. Still out of focus. It's just this, isn't it? The surface is really smooth. On the top I can see a few more artifacts, but I mean overall it's actually extremely usable. There's a texture at the bottom. I'm quite happy with this. Welcome back to the future. It's been a couple of weeks since I had it. I've been using it a lot, day and night, so I definitely now have a better idea of what I like and what I don't like about it. First of all, let's answer to the main question of this video. Does it print right out of the box? Yes, it does. The setup process was not as sleek and elegant as I thought it would be. It's not like setting up a phone, just to say. There are moments where you are left wondering what's to do, but eventually the informations are there, you just need to look for them. And yes, you can get it to print something the very same day you set it up. I took 2 days because stuff happened with my microphones and everything. I got frustrated, but it is not a problem with the machine in itself or the setup process. Let's start with things that I don't actually like, and then I will tell you why they're not so important at the end of the day. So first of all, at least the MS2, I don't know if the normal one does, it can detect which filament you are inserting if you're using genuine spools from Bambu Lab. But it cannot tell how much filament has been used and how much that's left. And it's not that easy to guess how much you got left, which means that at the beginning of a very long print, you are not completely sure whether it's going to be able to finish or not. There are options to have a second spool of the same material and tell it that that's going to be the refill, and the machine will also pause and give you a chance to replace the spool if that's the case. But when that happens, there is some shrinkage and you can tell where the print was stopped and restarted, and I lost a batch because of that. Now, I don't think it would be a massive problem to solve. I think they can either solve it via software by remembering how much filament is being used of a specific spool, because it has a chip anyway it can communicate with, or they could probably improve the AMS by adding a scale that can actually estimate the amount of filament left. I hope they do it in the future, because it will really be a nice feature, and you know, resin printers do that all the time. They have a scale so they can tell how much resin there's left in the tank, and they can tell you if you're able to finish the print or is likely to stop before. So please, Bambu Lab, work on that. The second thing I don't quite like, well, that came as a bit of a surprise really. It wasn't clear to me from the description. You have 2 heads, but the AMS only has 1 out feed, and each head needs its own in feed. That means that if you have 1 AMS, you can only feed 1 of the 2 heads. And if you want to use the other one, you either need a spool on the external feeder, the external rod as a back, or you need a second AMS or a high temperature AMS, which is a smaller unit that actually is much cheaper and can also keep much higher temperature, which is probably what I might get. But on the other hand, it's a bit disappointing that you buy the machine and straight away, if you want to use both heads, you probably also need to buy something else. And that becomes quite awkward with my third point, which is the plate size. It is much bigger than many other printer and it makes the best use of the 2 heads. Problem is there are 2 strips, not very wide, I'd say probably an inch each side, that can only be reached by one head or the other. The problem is that the machine cannot switch filament from one head to the other. So if you want to print something in the same material that is full extent of the plate, you need 2 spools of the same material, 1 for each head. And that's really counterintuitive. And that becomes quite awkward because if you don't have a big production or you're only using it for your little project on a sporadic base, you don't want to buy all that much extra material just to be able to complete one single print, which does the best use of the whole size of the plate. And these 2 points really made me think that at the end of the day, if you buy the machine and you want to use its full potential, you also need to buy more stuff straight away. And that's not fair. It's like buying a car and only having a stick that can go for the first 3 gears, and if you want all 6 gears, you need to buy a second stick. I don't think it should be like that. Anyway, the fourth point is also an extra thing that you need to buy, and that is a memory stick that you need to put in this little USB here at the top if you want to shoot time lapses, because the machine itself has virtually no internal memory. It can probably only store 1 of your jobs, and it has a few other benches, and that's pretty much it. It's not able to stream time lapses to, say, your laptop or to your mobile or to an external device. It needs to save them locally, but you need to buy an extra memory, otherwise it won't be able to. And I've been also told that you need a very fast one. because a slow memory stick can actually have a bad impact on the quality of the prints, for a reason I don't fully understand, but that's what it is. Now, let's go to the positive. Why you should buy this machine, or at least why I'm very happy with this machine. First of all, once I got hold of how the software works, it was absolutely brilliant. And the transition between my Mac, my laptop, and my phone, it's very, very smooth. You can access the machine for all three devices, even at once. You can stream the camera, you can see what the machine is doing at all times. It will send you notification if there's any issue. And if you check from the camera and you see that the issue is no big deal, you can just restart it remotely. Second point, smell. I've been printing in PLA and ASA. ASA gets very, very hot. I mean, it brings the silo up to 30-32 degrees Celsius when it's in use. That being said, there is a little bit of smell, but the internal filters are working very well. I don't think I need an external exhaust. On the other hand, I would say I would probably not want to be in this room all the time or for a very long time while it's printing, because I can still smell some plastic, so I don't think that's healthy on the long term. But on the short term, I think the filtration is really, really good. And the third and most important point is the print quality, which left me absolutely speechless. Yes, you can see the layers. Compared to a resin printer, we are not quite there, but I have to say it's very, very close, and in some cases I could almost not tell the difference. I had one little print that I made of a building, and that almost looked like a resin print. And I actually managed to print some very thin detail that with resin printer will always snap because you have to remove the supports. And in this case, I could actually even touch it and it will stay in place and not snap off because the materials itself, it's then more flexible. I definitely now have the confidence that I can use this machine professionally for my own projects, and I will be probably using it for a very long time. If you never had one and you're a bit intimidated, yes, there is a learning curve. There are a lot more parameters to set up and to learn about compared to, say, an SLA printer, which literally just comes out of the box. You send the file and it prints. The other thing is color prints. That was very different for me because I have worked with color 3D printers, but that's a very different approach. They can print millions of colors and you send to the printer a colored STL. In this case, you send a normal STL without colors, and then you have to tell the machine which part gets printed in which material. So it's not technically a color print, it's a print made with colored materials. And that's very different, but the software works well enough to guide you through the process. There are a few tools to isolate single parts. They could be better, I have to say, but it's not too bad. Overall, I have to say, go for it. It's totally worth it and you're gonna enjoy it. So I hope this video was useful. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.